Yeah, come on, we script it.
We don't script anything. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is Friday, and it is
You sure
two
about
guys.
that?
It is. No, that was a little bit of a pause there.
Double
Two
check.
guys text week in tech news and Hangout, Home Lab Hangout, normal Hangout. Just hang out with the guys and you guys. I'm Rich. This is Brandon. That's John at the end.
Oh, we got a first in chat, and Graffiti's not even here.
I know, and Hugh is first in chat. Hugh, thank you. Welcome. This time you're not taking the chat from the road like last time, which is safe. Don't do that.
Safe driving.
Safe driving. Okay, since I open, I got to ask the questions. I'll start with Brandon since he's to my left. Brandon, how are you?
Doing pretty well. I had a PC issue last time.
Mhm.
I think we talked about it. It was definitely a short from what I can tell.
Okay.
I jostled my computer the right way, I guess, and plugged all the RAM sticks in, and now it works again.
When you say jostled, you pet slowly and said
I
sweet
guess.
nothings?
I guess. I dropped it enough to shake all the,
Shook
the
it like
short
a
out.
wooden- Yeah,
but
that's it.
it's all back and running, so I can't complain until it happens again, right?
And John, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
What, did you have a good week?
I had a fine week. It was just a week. It's over.
Yeah, same for you.
Oh yeah.
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 The look on your eyes was like, "Hello, darkness, my old friend." But all right.
Cool.
Did anything fun in the home lab?
No, I haven't done. I honestly did not. Although super excited. We got a
mysterious.
We
black
got a
box.
mysterious. The box is wrapped in black cellophane.
It's a mysterious.
It is a mysterious package, and we can't wait to open it. We're gonna open that thing tomorrow. We gotta shoot a bunch of B-roll and take some pictures of opening this super secret thing, and we will share it with you
It
guys.
came on a pallet.
Yeah, it came on a
Let's just
pallet
add that.
Yeah,
It is
this-
big enough that a pallet was required.
and a lift gate,
yeah.
which I had to make sure that the truck that delivered it had a lift gate because I don't got a dock at my place. Excuse me, sir. No, just throw it off the back. We'll just.
Just push it off.
Well, we can install 20 amp circuits, but we can't install a loading dock in your house.
Yeah, I mean,
Where would the loading that be connected to? The second step of this porch.
well,
Maybe.
the truck backs up to the loading dock, but on the other end of the loading dock is just a drop.
Yeah.
So-
Hey, got it.
Aaron, it's good to have you, buddy. Thank you for joining us. It's a long time no talk. Anyway, so I don't know if we got a video coming out very, very soon. Just do a little bit of housekeeping. Got a great case video coming out. John's been working on probably tomorrow, maybe,
What do you think?
or maybe.
We'll see. We'll
Okay.
see. I've been sitting on the computer long enough editing today. I'm kind of out of it, so I don't know if when I go
A
home,
little burnt there.
I might
Okay.
just be passing out after this.
All right. Well, then Monday for sure.
Okay, I'll shoot for tomorrow. We'll
Shoot for the He said it. It's on camera,
It's
so you
on
can't
camera.
do it.
Oh.
But otherwise, I don't know if I have any of the housekeeping stuff. Got
I
anything?
don't know. Did you do anything fun? I asked him about his home lab. You do anything fun? Did your computer break too?
No, I got a second monitor for my editing rig.
Oh
That's
yeah, that
right.
was so cool.
It's
And you turned it vertical, right?
yeah, so I kind of joined the trend. I was like, I'll try vertical, and I love it. So I got my 34-inch ultra wide for my timeline, and then I went with a 27-inch LG ultrafine 4K monitor, and
Wow.
it
Is it
comes with
ultra
that.
fine?
Yeah, it's got that monitor mount that comes with it. That you just literally put the monitor on it and it just clicks into place.
Dude.
And then it's already balanced for it, so you can just move it anywhere you want. And that screen is absolutely gorgeous. So like doing color correction now, I'm like, I wonder what my videos look like on other monitors. So like I'm dragging like a picture of Rich and I like.
No, I feel you. I have one of mine is a gaming monitor with a TN panel,
Mhm.
and the other one is like an office monitor with an IPS. And I like move things, and I'm like, oh, that's the right
Yeah.
color.
That's what it's supposed to look like.
And it's also an HDR monitor, so I'm like,
Oh,
well,
dude.
should I just be turning HDR off? Because now I'm editing to look good on HDR, right? So
How does Windows handle HDR on two separate monitors?
It looks
Because-
really goofy.
Yeah, if you turned it on,
I'm drinking with you, Aaron.
because if you turn it on one, you'd get good HDR, and then I know the colors, at least in the past, I know they've gotten better, but non-HDR in Windows 10 looked really bad if you had HDR on.
Yeah,
like
I
the
showed-
proper monitor.
I was showing Rich my screen, and it's gorgeous, but it does some weird like artifacting on like those YouTube videos of like Ultra 8K.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, it's gorgeous. I love it. I joined the vertical screen people, which is kind of weird, but.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's great. And
What kind of beer are you drinking down in Texas there? What's
It
that
better
one?
be a Shiner Bock.
That's the brand. I was thinking. So,
did you say that wrong? Should be Shiner Bock.
No, Shiner Bock.
Shiner Bock.
Shiner Bock.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
All right.
I've been there. You haven't been there.
I've been to Texas. I've been in different places.
You-
Let me tell you where I've been. I've been all over that damn state here. I've been to Austin. I've been to plenty of time in Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Yeah.
And I was in the airport in Houston, Texas.
You were in the airport?
I was in the airport. That's as close as I've
I
ever
don't
been.
think that counts.
It counts.
I've been in the airport in Kansas too, but that doesn't count as going to Kansas.
Mitchell, look at this. We got a great Parks and Recs Pale Ale. Park and Recs, the show
Pale Ale?
Pale Ale. You tell me.
I don't know. I haven't heard of that one. I don't know. It's been a while.
You were born in Texas.
I was, but I've been out for about 7
Oh,
years
so
now.
was I.
So
That's funny. I don't know that.
That's what's wrong with you guys. I knew there was something about the two of you who was just messed up. I didn't know what it was.
Man.
It's because you're born in
Yeah,
Texas.
man screams that two people are wrong as he shouts loudly into YouTube camera.
That's
yes,
how Rich
very
wins
much.
arguments. He just yells. So.
You know, that's how it works, okay? You're the loudest person, you're the most rightest person.
The trick is to just let him wear himself out.
If
Like,
that's not 2020, I don't know what
I
it is.
just, well, I mean, I learned from my ex-president, so.
Yeah.
Oh, should we get going? Should we get to the
Yeah,
good stuff? Can I go first? I want to tell you a story.
You want to tell me a story?
Yeah, and this is really, it's more nerdy and funny, and I think you
It's
guys
just
will
this
love
spaceship.
this is a spaceship.
Oh, it's a
Okay.
spaceship. Okay.
All right.
but
So
no, let's just close the.
Yeah, we're gonna go on a- on a-
laptops.
we're
no,
gonna
no,
go
no,
on a
no,
rant
no, no.
here.
This is really great. This is, and it's
Check back in about 5 minutes.
Oh, stop.
We'll,
Here we go. So that's a picture of the one of the Russian space shuttles that existed in the 1980s.
It's pretty fascinating stuff.
Right.
actually.
It looks just like the space shuttle. I mean, it's like someone went and took the plans for an American space shuttle, took it to the copy machine, and went and then eventually 300 pages in, you kind of get a facsimile, and that's it.
Okay.
That's not what I'm here. I'm not here to make fun of it, because in 1988 they flew that guy, and they flew it without anybody in it.
Mhm.
They flew it around the planet a few times, landed, and then the Soviet Union ran out of money and collapsed
See,
and
I
all
didn't
that.
know it actually took off. I thought it just.
Well, they put it on a
It
rocket.
sat in a hangar, and they had the rockets, but I didn't realize it actually flew.
One of them did. They made two
Yeah.
of. They were making a few of them, but that let's just assume that's the one that flew, because I mean there were basically only two fully.
It looks like
built.
it's in the middle of like a Hilton lobby. There.
It's
Yeah, I was kind of thinking
old
that.
Hilton lobbies. Yeah,
Yeah.
man, they used to build hotels so wastefully. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So. It went up 1988. It flew around the planet a few times, and there's like the maiden test flight, and they landed, and then everything collapsed. Right?
Okay.
They ran out of money. The space shuttle program for them ended, and that there were two shuttles they're in existence. One of them in the basically the hangar that held it in, the hangar ceiling fell in, it crushed it and destroyed it. Right. So there's one left. Right. And that one that was left, I gotta find the name of this because it was called the Burya, the second one. Okay.
Okay.
All the space shuttle stuff, the Russian space program was done out of Kazakhstan, right? And the last remaining shuttle, called the Burya, is still in Kazakhstan, but it's in really bad disrepair. It's kind of a huge icon to Russia's space program. It's part of their history, but it's been heavily vandalized. There was spray paint all over it. It never flew. It was 95% complete, and then everything failed, and so it just existed. At the end of that Soviet space program, they started basically selling off parts and pieces to people, right? And through a long chain of different handovers, it ended up, quote unquote, in the hands. I'm using quotes here because it's Russia. I mean, it might have ended up this guy's hands legitimately or not. The guy's name is Darin Musa, and he's a Kazakhstan businessman, John. And this guy believes he owns the Burya. He claims ownership over that, the Burya, okay? The Russians kind of want it because it's a huge part of Russian space history, right? But he says he owns it. No, it's mine. And if you want it, I'm willing to trade it for you. Sounds fair, right? Except Darin Musa wants the skull, specifically, of the last Kazakh Khan, whose name was Kenesary Kazimov, who was and I'm an American, so this history is new to me, right? We don't teach American history in America.
I don't think they'd be teaching us in school.
Right, so
regardless.
Kenesary Kazimov was a hero, a modern-day hero to Kazakhstans, who he led a 10-year struggle to oppose the Russian Empire's attempt to colonize the region in the 1840s. Okay, he was beheaded, and they sent his head to Russia.
Okay.
Okay,
As you do.
as you do. And that was in 1847. they chopped his head off and sent it to Russia. And obviously, Kazakhstan became part of the Soviet Union, so whatever. But he's seen as this like a hero to the people there. So Musa is willing to give them the Burya, the last space shuttle, if they can produce the skull of their national hero. And I gotta say, from an American perspective, it's kind of like someone like stealing the American space shuttle, the one we have a few, but let's say there's one left, and being like, you can have it if you give me the head of Abraham Lincoln. Right? I mean, because it's kind of like that. Like, give me my national hero. Give me Thomas Jefferson's skull, and I will give you that space shuttle.
I feel like this is just a ploy to do, like, give them something they obviously can't find.
Well, yeah, fair. And in fact, I have that. So the Soviets think that maybe the skull is somewhere in St. Petersburg, or maybe not, because that was 1847. They probably threw it away.
The written records aren't super accurate.
Right. I mean, think of all the change that's happened in Russia over going from the Soviet Union to the fall Soviet Union to
or 1840 to the communist revolution.
Exactly. Like there's been a lot. There's been a lot of.
Russia's been popping off over the last 2
Although they
years.
do have people. Who's that? They have one of their leaders that's like encased and he looks great today. Like he's from formaldehyde. I can't remember whether it's Lenin or something like that. Anyway, but I just thought that was just bananas. Like literally, like I'll tell you what. You want this? I'll give it to you. Just give me the head of my leader.
Okay, I have 2 questions.
Hit me.
One, like, how can you just claim ownership of that and it's not like, does he have barbed wire fence around this with like his name on it? Like, this is mine. This is my property. I mean, this is
maybe.
Okay, how does that even work? Like, does he own the land with his on, or it's just like I just own that and it's on this government land? Obviously, there's a lot we don't know, but it's kind of weird. Well, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, so the article basically says that when the space program basically went bankrupt, they sold assets off. They traded them.
I get that, but it's in its original location.
It isn't. It's in the hangar. Yeah. So assume he owns it.
He has an IOU from Gorbachev that just says like you own space shuttle. Like
you have space shuttle.
Yeah. It's like written on a dollar bill.
It's on.
But you have a good point. So Kazakhstan is a separate country now, right? It's not really owned a part of Russia. So it's not like they could just they could. Vladimir Putin is clearly shown that he could just walk into someplace to take something. But
I guess I just have this mental image of like this giant chunk of land with like I don't know, a trailer park, and then in the back behind just a space shuttle with tires on the wings. And
I think you're gonna see an acquisition of New Crimea again. Just gonna slide in there and this land's mine now.
Second thing, if you're gonna be asking for a head, like I don't feel like asking Putin. You think Putin's gonna have a hard time finding a head to send to this guy if he wanted to?
That's a good point. Actually, I never thought about they don't have to prove that it's actually the last Khan of Kazakhstan. They could just take a human skull and put it in a bag.
They'll be like, you want fresh skull or you want
we brought skull. You want child skull or an adult skull? We have all skull. Boy skull, girl skull. That's my terrible accent.
Yeah.
And this is why we don't have any Russian viewers on YouTube. Anyway, but no, you're right. If really, realistically speaking, if it became important enough to the Russians that they wanted that space shuttle, they come get it. Now, there's a bunch of legal stuff going on because the Kazakhstan government also believes that they own that. Mm-hmm. Because I mean,
it's on their fucking land.
Yeah, it was the chain of events kind of shows that it belongs as being sold off to the Kazakh government. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't stop this guy. He's like, well, it's mine. It's on my property. Here it is. I don't know if it's on his property or not. I don't know. He hasn't really shown a lot of like. Here's the deed entitled to this thing, right? There is no deed entitled to a Russian space shuttle.
Can't look up the Carfax.
No, it's the Russian Carfax.
Slight scratch.
Yeah, slightly dented.
Wheels fall off.
Oh yeah. It sounds like one of those things where like there are just some black MiG Hawk helicopters are gonna show up there. Some MiGs are gonna show up and just take it and leave.
Yeah, they could. They could just roll in there.
If they try to tow that thing and just rip in half.
Yeah, I mean, but they could roll in. I mean, honestly, if they really wanted it,
Kazakhstan again.
Yeah, I mean, they could just roll in there. I don't think they really want it. I think that this is just interesting, and it's weird. It doesn't like considering all the news that seems to happen in the world. When was the last time we heard someone saying, "I'll give you this thing that's a national treasure. You just got to give me the head of my beloved leader." I mean, it feels like almost some sort of like like Black Mirror episode
Yeah.
on Netflix, right? This is the reality that we live in, and it's just a little bit off from what we want. But like you've said, John, many times, we live in the
This shitty alternate reality.
yeah, we live in the alternate reality that's
Like
terrible.
other realities would visit us and be like, whoo, glad we don't live in that one. Let's keep rolling on this.
Yeah.
That's like a bad Sliders episode. But,
Yeah. So that was all I got. I saw that. I thought it was hilarious,
no,
and
that's
I
a
wanted
great
to share
story.
it.
Crazy.
Okay. Who would like to talk about something that's not related to
I'm not
Russian
gonna
space?
follow that up. Are you kidding?
I will, because Aaron already started with fake news. So,
Okay.
speaking of fake news, did you know the internet was down? Like,
I
say that, and that's
Yeah.
only because there are lots of companies where workers may be on a certain media website, social media website that went down, and to them, that is the everything.
Mm-hmm.
The
And
one
I,
app
yeah, and
that
I
rules them all.
I prayed for all the system administrators and network engineers who got the vast amount of tickets that said "internet down."
Can't reach Facebook.
because
Okay.
Facebook went down. But Facebook was down, and you know what the cause was?
I do.
Yeah, none other than your old friend BGP.
BGP, Border Gateway Protocol. John, I want to talk about that
Yeah.
too in detail, and your eyes are going to glaze over.
No, I thought the interesting part about this was the fact that like people went down to fix this physically, and they
Oh.
couldn't even get in the building. So
I couldn't believe their internal infrastructure ran the
It's-
way their
you,
external.
you
was.
misunderstand it. It's because they have no difference between the two. It's
Yeah.
all co-opted on the same gear, and when you shut down that gear or make it stop working, it stops working for everybody. But
So what exactly happened? Because like the way
Okay.
I understood it was basically at some point someone pushed bad BGP routes, things went down, and even the door locks on the data center locked themselves out because they detected an error. And people had to walk down. I think it's in Santa Clara. Is their data?
they
data
have
center?
one. They have
They have
one.
their big one. Either way, they had to walk down to one of the big hubs and go in and physically open the doors and reboot every single server.
All right,
so the
so
problem is they couldn't even physically open the door.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
heard
had to
that
find-
they had to
the
like
people
go.
that were nearby weren't even the people that could fix it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. I don't want to go. If I get too super nerdy detail here,
Yeah.
tell me to dial it back. Okay, we're gonna start at the top. So Facebook officially told everybody what happened, and it is a fascinating combination of like cascading failures that led to essentially what we saw, which was a 6-hour downtime for Facebook, Instagram, and for WhatsApp, which in India. For a lot of
That's
people,
huge.
Facebook is the internet.
the actual
they like
yeah.
sell people computers, and Facebook is the app that they use, and that's it. They don't go to the internet; they go to Facebook to see and sell and buy, and that's everything. All right, so Facebook was doing a routine test of their backbone. For people who don't know what a backbone is, think of the backbone as basically it's the backbone of the network. It's literally the highest bandwidth. Yeah, that's why they call it that. It's really complicated.
Describing something by calling it its name is not
Well,
describing
but if I say to you, where's your backbone, Brandon? Well, it's in your back. It's
yeah,
also
you could call it the spine of the network.
fair,
lots-
whatever. Right, anyway, so the backbone is a terminology used to define a part of your network infrastructure that is got the most bandwidth, and it's the thing that hauls between different locations. So if you have 2 data centers, there'd be a backbone between the data center. This is an example here. That would carry traffic between those at the fastest and the highest speed as possible, so that the data centers could do their work in whatever fashion that they need to. Right? It's the backbone. It's like my backbone and John's backbone and your backbone. Come on, it's a backbone. Anyway, so they were doing a routine test of the availability of the backbone. They sent a command.
Mhm.
They also have a program that validates every command that's sent to the backbone to make sure that command is not going to cause a problem. That command or that validation program had a bug in it, and it ignored the fact that the command they were sending would essentially wipe out the backbone's ability to send data back and forth. They didn't define it any deeper, but I would guess that they told it to drop all the VLANs or something like that. So what happened in that instant is that the backbone in all the data centers went down, and the servers were basically abandoned or basically orphaned inside, right? On top of that, Facebook's DNS infrastructure that's frontward facing to the internet is the thing that also manages and announces BGP routes to the internet for Facebook's data centers. So again, DNS, people always call it, it's the address book of the internet. When you go to 2guystech.tv, it says, oh, it's this IP address, go over there, talk to the server. That's what DNS is. And BGP is a automated system that allows you to, broadcast out to other routers how to get to your network, and then that filters out through the internet. And you don't have to create manual route configurations on every router everywhere in the world. The DNS servers couldn't reach the backbone, and the software that they run says if you can't reach that, that means that the backbone is not available for that location. Announce the BGP removal of that route so that this data center is now not on the internet. Because the backbone went down and all the DNS servers could not reach the backbone, they all in unison announced to the world that Facebook's data centers were no longer there. They were no longer available, and that spread out everywhere. So when that happened,
I want to see the monitoring screen. Like, how many red things just flew up at them at once because everything was
it was
dead?
like a 1920s stock market crash, and IT people were jumping out of second-story windows.
Now, the real question is, how many people at Facebook said OF at the same time?
Yeah.
Like, be a record for the amount of times the F
mean,
has been dropped.
How many people just was like, and today I resign. And
Today I was giving my walking papers. So what John and Brandon were talking about, so because Facebook only has Facebook as a network, and what I mean is that in a typical corporate network infrastructure, you have your public side and you have your private corporate side, and they are separated from each other to make it safe, right? So that no bad guys can get in and you can control access to your resources. But Facebook's backbone feeds the internal organization and the external world at the same time. And I mean, the data is segmented inside there, so it can't cross, but it's all fed by that same thing. So when that happened, Facebook lost the ability to talk to the data centers, and the data centers themselves could not intercommunicate with each other, which meant that, like John and Brandon were talking about, when they decided that they were going to rush to the data center to try to reverse this action that just happened, they couldn't use their badges to unlock the doors to the data center because the access control systems rely on that same network to validate the access of the badges that they're swiping. So in effect, everything was physically disconnected from each other, and they had to find security guys to unlock the doors. Security guys likely were like, who the hell are you? I can't prove who you can't prove I'm not going to take a key and open this door. They got in there finally and then had to manually reboot core portions of that infrastructure. So they had to bring the backbone back online.
Yeah.
And once they got the network portion of it running, then the DNS started to realize, it's back. Okay, I'll bring it up. And then they had to, re-announce this BGP routes. 6 hours later, there's a lot of unemployed data center people. No, but it's just a fascinating cascade of failure. Like, legit, one guy makes probably just a fat finger press. The software that they built, likely to validate it, fails, and that just causes boop, 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 till the end. And I mean, do you remember, this is dark, but I'm just going to say this. Do you remember when September 11th happened, they took all the airplanes out of the sky?
I'm just going to stop you.
Hold up. They took all the airplanes down out of the sky, and all of a sudden we saw just how bright the sky could be without the pollutants from jet engines, right?
Yeah.
It was like this moment for like a few days, the scientists were like, oh my God, it's so much brighter than we realized because the sun is being darkened because of all the particulate in the air.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened for six sweet hours on the internet. All of the fake news and the misinformation and the crap that Facebook is doing, right?
Yeah.
All of it just went away. Like that's a huge chunk of the internet.
Yeah, the search for news outlets just went through the roof also.
Twitter
But
saw
I
it, yeah.
guarantee that all they were doing is seeing why Facebook was down. It wasn't Facebook is down. Search for actual facts. It was, why is the Facebook's down?
I can't get my news.
And it's also interesting because not only is all their internal infrastructure on public web too, all their apps implicitly assume DNS is never down.
Yeah.
Because of what you just explained, where it'll announce its routes. So they crashed other DNS servers too, and on top of people jumping to sites like Reddit, which I think Reddit runs on like 2 potatoes, and Twitter,
I thought
and
it runs
actually
on beans.
like 4 beans and
4
2 potatoes,
yeah, something like that.
But either way, it crashed all this thing because all the Facebook apps, all the Instagram apps were just all asking for DNS because they were like, hey, I can't find where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing. What do I do? And basically crashed other things. So it's a cascading effect that we have to realize the internet is fully connected, even though we want to believe we're behind a firewall.
Oh, yeah. Well, and to John's point, I think that Twitter even announced that it had the highest visitation rates that it has seen in years. Because people were like, well, I need to go someplace else now because I got to go to Twitter.
Somewhere else. It's like these other platforms realized that they're just used to figure out what's wrong with Facebook.
Oof.
I mean, that's how many times people go to Google and be like, what is wrong with my Ziply internet, right? So, I mean, that's... But long story short, just amazing. And it's probably there's if you're a infrastructure guy like me, there's a ton to take away from it as a
Yeah.
you look at this and you go, these guys designed. I mean, Facebook. Say what you want. Let's not talk about the social aspect of it, but let's think about it as a company and the technology behind it, and the fact they built these data centers. These data centers are interconnected, and they're obviously doing things their way that they've engineered from the start, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to go this long and find out you have some egregious issue that one human error could essentially take off a huge chunk of the internet. You definitely need to re-engineer how you build that, because you built it wrong. You built it wrong.
But like, how do you expect for something you can never see, right? Like,
right. It's always the hindsight. It's always the hindsight.
Like,
2020.
yeah, they could have. They would have validated. I have redundancy here, here, and here, and someone pressed RM-RF and wiped their entire switch. But yeah, it's wild, especially because they build like their own racks. They build their own servers that implement into those racks. Everything.
They build their own employees.
They do. I mean, honestly, they're trying, right?
Well, no, that's Elon Musk. Elon Musk wants to make robot people.
Sorry,
he'll use Neuralink to his
Mark's the lizard, right?
Mark is the lizard. Yeah, he does. That's right.
I thought he's also a cyborg.
There's that meme where like the lizard tongue comes out and like wipes his eye down. Right? He's sitting there talking to Congress. He's like, "I'm a robot or lizard." And he's like, whatever. Anyway, just awesome. It's just fascinating. I love that sort of stuff, because it's. And when it went down, like my wife texted me. She's like, "Did you know this was down?" I'm like, I was doing day job work, and I was like, "Oh, it's fine. I don't care what it is." And then you start reading about it, and Brandon and I were like, "It's BGP. Bet it's BGP. Bet it's DNS." Because the internet, if it's internet based, it's either DNS or it's BGP. However, this might be the instance where it was both.
Yeah, and it was just the implicit assumption that you can just if DNS is not available, data center must be down.
Yeah.
Which is like, I wonder what the logic is behind making those assumptions.
But I must have had a justification. But anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about something else. John, do you guys what? Sorry.
I think John has the next start.
Do you?
Windows 11 came out.
Windows 11 did come out.
Did you upgrade?
Yeah, let's get rid of the space shuttle on the picture really quick.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we should probably go back to that.
Thanks.
I mean,
all right. So, I don't know. This popped out in my head because I'm the one guy in the group here that's like, I'm not updating anything.
Please don't. Right. Not on the editing rig.
Right. So, to me, like,
has
my
Adobe
attitude...
hurt you?
Oh, my God.
There should be a support group for that. Like, seriously. Like, victims of Adobe Premiere.
Videographers who are hurt by Adobe Premiere.
Videographers Anonymous.
So, there's two groups of people on computers. Those who upgrade immediately, those who are just like, no, not yet.
Good.
And so AMD warns that if you upgrade to Windows 11, there could be a 15% performance decrease. So that's pretty significant. 15%.
Yeah.
15%. That's like it when Microsoft did its mitigation, or not Microsoft, but Intel did its mitigation.
Spectre mitigations. Yeah, I was thinking about that because like you got a 5950X. If it was 15% less performant,
then you have a 5900.
Yeah, what I have, and I have what, a 5800.
Yeah.
5800.
Oh, shut up. So it's only going to affect, they say, between 3 and 5% of applications. But
it must be a specific situation where it's...
that was the other thing I wanted to add. It's actually, at least currently right now, and they're really worried about it for pre-builts, is it's VBS, which if you don't know what VBS is virtualization-based security. And it sections off a portion of the RAM to make it more secure. Mm-hmm. It's not quite like error-correcting RAM. But it basically locks down the RAM a little more, and if you're trying to use your CPU, say for video editing or gaming, well, that little portion of RAM is no longer valid to use anymore because it's locked down.
Gotcha.
And it ends up hurting you more and more as you pass things from the CPU to the RAM to the graphics.
See, I don't really see this as that big of a deal. I know this is going to sound stupid, but like, it's your fault for upping like a first adapter. Because there's always something wrong with.
I've been in Outer Ring. I'm on Windows 11. I mean, it.
Okay. Are you on the stable now?
I've been in the Outer Ring.
That's true.
I've been in the Outer Ring ever since. So I never did the fast ring. I did the slow ring. So I don't even know what version of Windows 11 I'm on. I'm on Windows 11, and next time it pushes out the next update, I'll just grab it. So, But
his computer like blue screened because of the beta, and he still does this, and I can't help him.
I like that Windows 11. I like it a lot. I like my little Mac start bar and everything.
No, it looks great. I'm not gonna get that. For...
John, the thing is, you have 2 computers. Install it on your fun computer and leave it on your.
No,
That's an Intel. That's an Intel.
He's got.
Let's ruin the fun for John on the one machine he can just dick around on.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, you've got till 2025 to figure it out. So you got
Then it'll be
4 more
forced on you.
years,
Yeah.
and then you have to go to 11.
They'll be one of those people that's like, Windows 95, why are you making me upgrade?
I'm using ME.
Yeah, really.
No
one's taking me on Windows 7. I'll die first. Do you want to play video games? Okay, I'll install it.
Pretty much. But
Well,
they'll fix it.
Yeah,
it will get fixed. But, for now, if you have an AMD machine and you're looking at getting 11, depending what you're doing, you might want to wait. But
yeah,
that's my recommendation for everyone, anyhow, because...
Just wait.
I haven't upgraded yet either to 11. So I was like, I heard it was released, 2 days ago? And I was just going to let it vibe for a little bit, because I'm sure there was going to be bugs. Maybe get to a .1 release is what Apple calls it, but or you can be like Rich and just live on the bleeding edge.
Just get in there.
Everything.
Get in there with that
Here's the thing,
technology.
too,
Just
like, if
get
you-
in there.
If you have an app like you have to use,
Yeah,
and that just can hold back all of your work, just getting stuff done.
Oh, I know.
Okay, if you're a general user, you're just gonna roll with it because your work is gonna get done.
But Facebook was down.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I fully, John, you're doing the right thing. You doing that and waiting is the right thing for a variety of reasons. That my desktop over there, like if I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to my Mac.
There's no reason not to. I mean,
Right.
come on.
Well,
It's
you can't. It's a Mac.
Oh no, I could install the beta that. I'll install any update to Mac OS that fixes my USB-C Thunderbolt stuff.
so endless updates.
Yeah, so never. But yeah, I think there's a performance hit to it, but I think I agree with you. It's a new operating system. Like what did you kids
No
expect,
surprise
right?
whatsoever.
There's always bugs and glitches with new operating systems. There was bugs from XP to 7 and 7 to 10. There were all sorts of things that need to be ironed out.
Oh, yeah.
Give them 6 months to a year, and they'll figure it
I
out.
think it'll be fast sooner than that.
Yeah, this is the kind of high profile thing that they.
It's in the
fix
news
it.
now, so it'll be
That's
like
true.
Yeah.
2 weeks. I'm giving it 2 weeks.
You hear that? Actually, it'll come out next patch Tuesday. Will be next month. That's when it'll come out. They won't because they won't patch it.
Well,
Yeah,
It's
don't
okay.
hold me to that.
It's okay. I'll just have printer errors.
Yeah, it's fine. No one needs administrative rights to do printer jobs, right? Sorry, that's inside nerd stuff. Okay, what's next?
Brandon.
My turn. Okay. Did you guys know Twitch did a decentralized backup over the weekend? I'm sorry. They were hacked. My bad.
They were hacked because of all the hate that's on Twitter, Twitch.
So Twitch, it was randomly dropped on a torrent. Was a 120 gig file
120 gigs.
of Twitch source code. But wait, there's more.
But wait.
There were the profits of streamers. There were internal payouts.
Wait,
to
when you say
people.
profits of streamers, you mean how much they earn, not like
How much they earn from
not
Twitch
just,
directly.
They're
not-
just profits.
Yeah.
Of streamers, the streamer profits.
the streamer profits of like how much do big time streamers, because there's if you don't know about Twitch has about a group of about 50 or so top streamers, and they make 98% of the
Boy, it
money.
sounds like America.
Maybe.
Sounds like America.
But either way, they had a nice little leak and leaked out everyone's stream keys, which shows how you connect any streaming app, such like the one we're using, to Twitch. So if you have a Twitch account, I suggest you change your password.
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
And they already rolled the stream keys for everyone.
Oh.
So
Rich just like,
No, I was just thinking how awesome that would be in a bad way. Don't get me wrong, because I mean, look, I don't like chaos, but I like a little chaos.
okay, a little
I
decentralized
like,
backup.
if I'm the mild sauce packets from Taco Bell type of chaos. I'm not talking about medium or hot or fire. I'm talking about mild sauce. You see what I'm saying? Like it's on
Yeah.
the. I like a little chaos. No one gets hurt really, but some people.
So if we decentralize backup our 2GT and for stuff, you'd be cool with that.
I mean, were they going to get some videos of John with a sweatband on? Great.
Those are high profile
we were just
confidential assets.
discussing like how much of our old footage should we actually keep?
Oh, MW, thank you.
Hey,
It's about tree fitty. Thank you so much, buddy. Appreciate it. You can stay too. You can stay.
Yeah.
Appreciate it if you stay.
You don't have to leave.
Okay, so back to this. So all the stream keys, and so Because I would have loved
I
to
mean,
have sent bad
well-
streams to big streamers.
Yeah, well, as much fun as you thought that was, in the 120 gig file were the red team tools to test for hacking.
Oh wow! I mean, they literally got
And
everything.
clearly, they didn't work.
They must have gotten everything.
Yeah, so I think someone rolled over some engineers that day, and they hosed everything and cleaned everything up.
Wow.
But hey, on the Bright News, Twitch is now open source.
That's true.
You can now just load a Twitch service on, it'll start working, and Jeffrey can't do anything about that. It's
does
over.
Jeffrey even care about Twitch? I mean, he's too busy putting penis-shaped rockets into space.
Yeah, but I mean, he makes
to-
makes some money on it.
He wants to penetrate space with his rockets.
That's fair. I mean,
Penetrate.
he really only cares about Amazon Web Service. Everything else is kind of a joke.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
him.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's where they make all their money. They make all their money off of AWS. So, and Amazon proper. Like Amazon pays for AWS. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was a little great just to kind of when you leave a little 120 gig file on a torrent and just walk away.
Oh, I would love to look inside that torrent. I'm not gonna
I'm
download
like-
it. I'm not gonna download it because I don't need
You don't want to be traced by.
I don't want the risk, the culpability for it. But I would love to look inside of it.
You just don't want
Wouldn't you?
two FBI vans to roll up to.
Just two black vans. Like
Yeah.
MW rolls up in a black van. It's like, so we got this guy here. We know he downloaded it.
Yeah, you get off your plane and he's just waiting there for you.
I want something to come out. I want the news to come out and tell me how much those people make. I'm dying to know how much they make.
it was millions of dollars for those
Oh,
top people.
I believe it, but I want to see the numbers. I want a web page full of all the numbers.
I'm sure, but what do they expect? Like Twitch is going to keep paying.
Oh yeah,
the
they're not
people
going to
who
stop
come to
paying
Twitch.
those people. They're not. They're gonna be like, that's it. People know my privacy. I quit. This
And
$1 million
that doesn't
gig.
even include exclusive payout deals with each other, with other stuff they get. I mean, a lot of them are sponsored by like Corsair and Elgato and things like along those lines. So like it's a big leak, but I think it's more funny that the entire Twitch platform's now open source.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy.
Knowing the open source community, they're just gonna oh, it's on GitHub now. How did that get there?
Yeah,
Which I'm
that's
sure will bring up all sorts of IP law. I don't know whether they can actually do that, but
No.
just decentralize your backups.
There you
Let
go.
someone in.
That's what Michael thinks. Mike, decentralize them backups. That's just spread them around the
Think
internet.
about it. Yeah.
And you just download it if you
And the
lose your
source
data.
code's always safe.
Yeah. What else you got, guys? Anything else interesting? I have.
Hang on, I want to search Etsy for USB stick with Discord on it really quick, and then. I don't know. What do you got, Rich?
Okay, just a few things. I want to show a little. What's that?
You have a video?
I have another thing.
What?
And these guys always make videos.
I want to be. Oops, that's Rambuto.
Please
No, it's
tell me
not.
it's another rocket.
It's not a rocket.
It's a penis-shaped rocket.
Here it
Oh, I
is.
know it will
So
be.
this is back on that screen again. Let me go here. I want to show this.
Oh, it's a rocket.
Oh no, no, it's not. Okay, y'all.
It's a Switch.
Y'all know what that is?
It's a Nintendo Switch.
It looks like a Nintendo Switch, but it's
the
not.
Steam.
Yeah, I know.
What
All right.
you gonna call it?
So I just want to touch on this because I thought it was interesting. You can go to Steam's YouTube page. Yes, they have one. And you can watch this video that I took off the internet that I do not own and do not claim to have any ownership over. What it is
Copyright shit doesn't work that way, but okay.
look, I said it's not mine, so therefore this is a video where Steam or Valve, excuse me, is tearing apart a Steam Deck because there's user replaceable parts in there. Why I'm showing you this, one, because it's super cool and you get to see really close details on the internals of this. By the way, I pre-ordered that bad boy. When it comes,
Damn.
I'm not going to let you guys see it. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's
It's another thing.
It's
It's another thing that can sit on his desk and do nothing.
I know.
A rack.
Yeah, I'm like, hey.
That's why I have a big rack over here. Anyway, but what I really want to talk about here specifically about this is that what you can't hear and why I recommend you watch this video is because there's a voiceover the entire time this is happening, and the guy who's doing the voiceover is basically saying the two things. One, don't do this. Do not do this. Do not take it apart. Please don't take it apart. Bad things could happen. Like you saw a little bit of there's like you could scratch the battery and it could catch on fire, or you could break it for good. And then right in that same breath, he's like, but Valve really values your right to repair, and this is your device, so you can do what you want. And I'm just like, what? Why would you don't do this? But you can do it.
Are
Don't
you
do
kidding?
it.
Do you figure out what country we live in where people get sued for everything?
But no, but the thing is, you could put a sticker on the back of that and say no user serviceable parts, and it'd be done. All right?
But
And then,
it could be considered a how-to guide if it's on YouTube.
but that's okay. Again, so you
Which
you
it
brought up the
is.
question: But then why would you put that video on there? Maybe to build hype,
Yeah,
but
you got to play both sides so you always come out on top.
I mean, see, look, this all the things, and it's an awesome video, especially if you like teardowns. And I mean, they beat iFixit to their own teardown, I suppose, right? But
Yeah. That's
but
fair.
there's. I want to go back to this. Yeah, look, that's them dropping it. It's neat. But what I want to show you, this is. It's hard to see a little bit because we've got the thing there. But can I grab this and move it around? It's probably a bad idea to do this while we're live. But I'm going to do it anyway. Anyway, right here so you see where the heatsink fan is, right?
Yeah.
And you see the heat pipe coming out to the left and then going down. At the bottom of the device, that's the SSD in this thing.
Okay.
And the SSD is removable and replaceable and upgradable in theory if you can get a piece, right?
Yeah.
And you know, Valve would tell you, well, it's right next to the antennas for the RF, so you want to make sure you just don't go buy any SSD and put it in there. But I'm like, well, I'm sure they did their RF testing, right? So the SSD is replaceable, which is cool. And the two joysticks, one's already removed on the top left, and on the top right, you can see it's still in place, which to me makes it feel like, do they break? Can you bust a joystick in that thing and then you'd want to pick up a replacement?
Well, okay,
maybe?
so its direct competitor is the Nintendo Switch, right? The
Yep.
Nintendo Switch, the Joy-Cons on it have a notorious flaw where they do drift.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I think, Valve kind of being like, hey,
Is
if it gets fucked, no worries, just replace it.
Is drift? But I thought the drift was actually a logical issue, like not a physical issue.
Either way, I don't know. Maybe I thought it was a physical issue, and chat, correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, it's something that like Nintendo did. It was like, are you guys really bothered by that? Buy more Pokemon, or whatever Nintendo does.
Try the Pokemon.
But I know I like this. I like them being like, don't do this because this is actually like a tough teardown, if you will.
I mean, it's all screwed in and removable. So it's I mean, from a teardown perspective, it's probably the easiest thing you can do. Just remove the screws and there you go. It's got a nice big battery. I can't remember what its milliamp hours are, but this thing is running the AMD Van Gogh APU that's based on a Zen 2 processor, right? And it's got the RDNA 2 microarchitecture for its graphics. Supposed to be out in December for the pre-orderers. Who I am one of those pre-orders.
Did you get the
I got the
caddy package?
No, I just got the middle. I didn't do anything crazy like that. I think I got the 256 gig one, or I put in for that. But if you didn't pre-order it when they initially did it, you won't get it until like late 2022 is when they expect.
You think you're getting yours in December?
I better get mine in December.
That's
I mean, that thing is. I mean, if
did have you seen the outside? There's
Look,
kind of a sand shortage.
Look, all I gotta say is, if you think positive thoughts, your FedEx packages will arrive on time. That's all I'm saying. Think positive thoughts, and your FedEx packages will arrive on time. Anyway, go check out the video. We can put a link down in the description if you guys want to see it. But it's fascinating to watch because I mean I love looking at guts. Every time we get in a piece of new hardware and we review it for the channel, we always open it up because that's what I want to know what's behind the cover, right? I mean that's where the technology is. So that's kind of cool.
You know, if you're a company that doesn't normally do hardware, I know Steam has come out with a few things like the remote and they had the Steam box and all that.
The
But
index.
you would think that the index.
They didn't make the index though.
HTC did, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It'd be cheaper for them to just send parts.
Yeah.
Right? Like if someone was willing to do this instead of refunding it on Amazon because 30 days later it broke. I don't know, if you take it to iFixit, for example, like you're saving Valve money.
Yeah.
So I mean I on top of already jumping the bandwagon right now, which is huge for the right to fix it, or right to repair, excuse me.
Yeah.
I know. That just popped in my head while I was looking at this thing. But
Yeah, and I mean it's definitely an opposite mentality compared to Apple, who has like software locked their stuff.
Right, but Apple is a software and hardware company already. Like that's their thing, and
no, I agree with you. Steam very much has a culture of like you do what you want with it.
Well, yeah, Steam is or Valve as a company is a very interesting company in general. There's some fascinating stories that I highly recommend you search for what kind of company Valve is, because it's basically like, I don't like working for this group or department or project anymore. I want to physically pick up my desk and move it over to the cool kid side, and now I'm part of their team, and that's the culture.
I want to work on this project, and you just go over.
Yeah,
there.
you literally they in the employee manual for Valve, they teach you how to make your desk mobile and move it. So you can go anywhere. You're like, are you tired on working on Valve Index, fine. You just roll over here and go to the Steam Deck
And that's
people.
why Half-Life 3 will never come out. But
Yeah. Well,
it's just an empty room that no one even wants to touch.
yeah, they just changed the labels on the doors. But so that's probably why the Steam Deck, excuse me, is coming out and as strong as this, because I bet you everyone's like, this is the new hotness. It's sexy. I want to be on this and get on it. But anyway, so I thought that was fascinating. I highly recommend you check out that video if you are into such teardowns, especially ones done by the actual company, right?
You gotta beat iFixit to it, right?
Yeah, iFixit won't be. iFixit.
I mean,
will still
they'll still do their ones, right?
What else you got, guys? What else you got?
That's it. I'm out.
All right, I just have one last thing then, because I mean, we're getting close in time. The RTX 3090 Ti. Notice how I said Ti, not Ti, because as we learned, it is the 30X Ti.
What a subtle shocker. Like, they just said that, and I was like, I
That
been
was a
wrong?
while ago.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like a
but-
year ago.
Yeah.
But it blew my. I mean, this is dumb, and people will be like, "Why am I listening to this dork talking this way?" I believed in my heart of hearts that it was a Ti. This was a 1080 Ti. This is a 2080 Ti, and this is a 3090 Ti.
Yep.
It's not. I mean, it's
Doesn't roll off the tongue
Ti
very
for
well.
what? Titanium,
That's right.
Titanic,
Yeah.
Titan, Terrific. What does the Ti stand for? I want Jensen Huang to tell me what it means.
It stands for Taiwan, because that's where they're made.
Taiwan. The 3090 Taiwan. Oh my goodness. You know, that was actually good, Brandon. I'm impressed.
Well, every now and then I can make a joke.
Buzzing. Hey, anyway, so the 3090 Ti is likely to be coming out in January alongside the 3070 Ti.
Coming out.
In
Come-
2023.
No, well, this coming year, 2022. Did I say 21, 22? January 2022. It's expected to be announced, and I mean, you're not going to be able to buy it, but that's beside the point. It has a 450 watt TDP, which is, I should have wrote it down. It's more than the regular 3090's TDP. I think, I can't believe I didn't write that
3090
down.
is about 300. If I remember
300
correctly.
watt TDP. It's another 100.
And it can do some wild spikes to like 6
There we go.
under good conditions. So
It hit. They are rumoring yet another power connector for this thing. Now,
course.
Brandon, here's a 3070 founders, and John, who's got a 3090 founders, have goofy connectors that are proprietary and only.
And stupid. Because you have this beautiful cabling, and then you have this little Y connector.
Yeah, this black Y adapt thing. It looks trashy. You're right. I agree with that. So they are moving to what is assumed they're moving to a standardized PCIe 5 generation 5 power connector, which is 16 pins, and it looks like a small ATX power plug.
well, how much power delivery does PCI Gen 5 have? Do we know? Because Gen 4 is about 75 watts.
Well, this is
But
this is additional.
yeah, that's
on top.
additional.
I don't know what the I don't know what the
I know
bus
if they
gives
came
you.
up with a. I know like USB-C just introduced 240 watt charging in their next standard, which is going to be wild.
Big
But I was
old thick
wondering if
cable.
they, if they added anything to that.
So it is still 24 gigs, which is the same as the 3090, with the GDDR6X RAM.
So
Just add some extra letters to
where
that.
does this sit? Because like, okay, you got a 3070, you've got a 3080, you've got a 3090, and then you've got a Ti, and then you're into quadros already. Because like that's right on the line.
Yeah,
of,
yeah, I
like,
mean-
I'm a quadro data center GPU.
Well,
for,
yeah, that. But you just basically described it. So the thing with the Quadro chips or those
but,
cards,
like, what's the delineation to add an extra 150 watts of power?
you are assuming though that the Quadros are like somehow the evolutionary part of like beyond the 3090, right? Which they're not. You can get a tooth. The numbers escape me, but all the Quadros are basically enterprise versions of the game
Yeah.
card.
gaming
So
GPUs.
the 3060, 3070, 3080, there's a Quadro equivalent of that is just the Quadro.
Mhm.
And a lot of times they don't have fans in them if they're being put in
Yeah,
servers because
they're
they use the
racks,
passive blow of
yeah.
the servers. But so I mean it's just like we tweaked it a little bit. It's a little bit more engineering, a little less gamey, but it's
Nice.
still the same silicon. You can play games on it. I used to mine on an old Quattro that I had a long time ago. It was just as good as the regular one. What else did I say? Oh, so the other thing they announced is there's going to be a RTX 2060 in January.
Cool.
It's
Bring
going
it
to
all
be
back.
it's 12 gigs. That's a lot of RAM in a 2060. Like
Yeah.
what? I'm just saying.
Hey man, RAM is there. GPU chips are not.
That is is that the new processor? It's just more RAM, like
yeah.
I can wait for the ATV version.
ATV version.
the ATV version.
Yeah, available to buy.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, look at that! Boy, I mean,
Because who cares? Honestly.
I care. I think
Who
it's.
cares?
I
Well,
like it.
I think we talked about this a while ago. They're still making the next gen GPUs.
I
Whether
refuse to believe that.
Whether they can stamp enough of them out to have them in people's hands, that's another question.
Hugh, thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
But
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, but other than that, that's all I got. I mean, between the Kazakh skull and Russian space thing, and Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and Twitter or Twitch, and the Right to Repair, I think I'm good.
Yeah.
You guys good?
Yeah,
I'm good.
absolutely.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure as always. We'll be back next Friday. Yeah.
yeah,
All right. So we will see you then. Have a wonderful weekend.
catch y'all later.
Toodaloo.
Should I say toodles too?
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
Just hit the button.